Hello, beautiful, beautiful beings. Geeia Ariati here. I am the code to unlock the matrix. And what that means is the codes have been created to unlock ourselves from the matrix, and they exist in the quantum field. But by being here, you're obviously resonating to something within the title and this heading of this video, which is talking specifically around the 199 and two-spirited. Now, this live is got a lot of multidimensional and interdimensional expressions of consciousness, as does it also hold a lot of interesting layers of what might unlock you, might activate you, might clear, might give you those aha moments, that feeling of, oh, wow, I'm being seen, or wow, that makes so much sense. How could have I not seen that before? Or, I knew that. I already received it, but she's putting it into words. So a lot of what I jump on here to discuss is something that's moving through our collective field, the field of information that we all have interconnectedness with as our unique expressions of God Source Creator, as we be, as we are. And with that, there is a intensity that occurs when we realize that we are all moving through the same thing from one of the perspective lenses of consciousness to discover ourselves, to become self-realized. Now, if you've listened to any of my videos or channel transmissions in my educational sessions before, you may have recognized from some of my communications last year that I am a channel. I have the ability to be an oracle, a prophesy. I have the ability to work as a high priestess. I am a goddess incarnate. I am all of these labels, which really mean absolutely nothing to me, and also desire that they mean absolutely nothing to you, unless they help you to get to seeing who you are in this moment, right here, right now. And last year, I started speaking a lot about the transcendence journey. So I'm here as a portal of purification to assist the purifications of the distortions of the separate mind or the human psyche, the human condition, by finding and creating synapses pathways within the consciousness, within templates of quantum realities, and allowing for pathways of purification to occur without necessarily needing to go through the human contrast that I did to get here. Now, last year I spoke a lot about my journey to transcendence and how amazing it is when you arrive and you get to be in this state of bliss and perfection. And then I returned back to Australia and everything changed. Everything that I'd worked so hard on to be in such discipline, to be such alignment with spirit and such perfect intuitive guidance, just slowly started to crumble. Now, for those of you that are aware, we went through the tipping point. The tipping point actually occurred on the 14th of November, and the final shift out of a lot of completions of old Earth missions ended up being on the 28th and the 29th of December. So 28th in Australia, 29th over the other side of the world. And what that was a period of intensity of energy, where energy was provided for us to be able to create such significant shift in the cellular structure of ourselves and in the earth to step out of a dynamic reality or a consciousness that did not support that which we desire to create. Now, with this, there is a interesting expression around this. I know for me, I've been like, how the hell did I go through transcendence and end up back here? Like, I've done all this. Why am I back here? What's going on? And it has only literally just landed. If you've heard me talk around the 199, I spoke about very specific, powerful men that are here to lead the New Earth Revolution. These are 199 DNA strands. Now, what is a 199 and what is a 144? You could say that they've been biblically referenced and be that they're the saviors, or they're touched by the divine, or whatever you want to call it. Anyone, now I'm going to repeat this, anyone can choose to be a 199. Through conscious choice, if you chose, I want to be a 199, you're reading the Bible and you're like, yeah, that resonates with my heart. I'm absolutely here for that mission. By you choosing to be here for that mission, you choose that mission. Now, you also choose whatever memories, whatever areas of consciousness, whatever areas of quantum reality is required for you to become that embodiment. So anyone can be a 199. Anyone can be a bringer of change. Anyone can awaken to hearing that they came to Earth for the great shift, the great awakening. Anyone who decides that's a story that resonates with my sacred heart can do this. Now, the 199 specifically, I spoke to about the men that are here to lead, right? It's a DNA signature. What does that mean? A DNA signature is a very specific vibration, light, geometric patterning, and number sequencing that exists within the cells that allows for a specific light frequency and vibrational octave of higher realities to be embodied in a physical human being. So what that means is that you awaken and you take yourself to a high height, and then your body starts to code this signature, this number, this light frequency into your physical reality so that you can become the holder or the embodiment of it. Now, these specific men are what we would call two-spirited. And if you want to understand a little bit about this, I will link it in the comments below, and I will put the 199 video as an option to watch after this. But with that, there was no communication with me during this time of my channeling, with this communication with infinite intelligence, that there was 199 women. Now, I know better than that, right? As above, so below. As within, so without. You can't have one without the other. There has to be. That's this reality. Polarization creates this. There is a masculine, there is a feminine, there is an above, there is a below, there is an in, there is an out. There is always in balance everywhere at every moment of every time, something that is existing in reciprocity. So when I was sharing about these amazing men and what their journey was, right? So they are two-spirited, means they have two lots of past lives, two lots of karma, two lots of information, two lots of abilities, two lots of gifts, right? So two-spirited beings have a lot of challenge, especially from the point of unconsciousness, because when they're coming from a point of unconsciousness, they would be what you would consider a bit bipolar. They would be mentally unstable. They would be those people that give you those warm, loving energies, and then they pull back and they're cold as ice, right? Or they might seem like the most beautiful love that you've ever felt, and then you feel simultaneously in terror at the same time, and you're like, I don't understand. How does this happen? Who is this? Why are they like this? Why do they flip, right? Jekyll and Hyde. So beings that hold this Jekyll and Hyde energy often have two spirits. This is more than just a separation of shadow consciousness, right? So we all have a light and a dark side. We all have a information source and a lack of information. We all have ascended, descended expressions to our level of capacity of consciousness. But when it comes to a two-spirited being, they have come with two spirits intentionally to purify both, so to go through the transcendent journey of both, to be able to merge them as one that has more information, more ability, more capacity, more intellectual capacity, more insight in the path, right? Now, these two-spirited beings, being that they are connected to the original Anunnaki, or the 144, is a higher expression of this. Now, you might see them as the original creators of the earth, and they are creator beings that have a very profound ability multidimensionally to create universes, to create worlds. That's why they're leaders in this awakening, because they know how to create a world. They know how to create a universe. And so they're doing it from their human lens through the experience of purifying themselves and focusing their conscious intention on creating, say, the new earth, creating utopia, heaven on earth, whatever paradigm or reality. These are realities. They exist in the quantum field. And what we're doing is we're seeing them, we're focusing on them, and then we're bringing them vibrationally into our physical experience. So when I started speaking about the 199, I was focusing on these powerful men. They need help, right? We need to help them purify. It's very confusing. Have a Jekyll and Hyde. You've got an ascended, like high vibrational Elohim, and then you've got a Luciferian demon that's like simultaneously inside this physical human's body, right? And that is very, very, very uncomfortable. Now, I knew quite a few of these 199 directly in my field, amazing leaders going through a lot of turbulence to transform. Some more purified than others, some really well known, some yet to be discovered really by anyone other than their local soul family and soul tribe. They're here for big missions, yet they're still quite a while from being that purity of merged spirit expression. Now, with that, I was directly interacting and engaging with a lot of these two-spirited men. Not once did I think to ask, am I a two-spirited woman? It didn't even occur to me, not to mention that I've had mental health issues, and that I've had a tendency of bipolar, that I have been in points of schizophrenia, that I've had these tethering moments that have been so extreme that sometimes I felt like my brain was going to explode. I had this craziness that was there. But when I went through my journey of learning to self-soothe, learning to look at the shadow, learning to work with my channel, learning to be in full connection of purity, that all shifted. That all disappeared. So I didn't see myself in that way at all. I know who I am. I know exactly who I am. And for some of you might have heard my story around recognizing that I'm the reincarnation of the goddess Isis. Now, that is not important, right? She has so many soul parts and soul expressions, and there are so many individuals that are connected to that lineage that can receive that medicine. It doesn't make me special. It doesn't make me any more divine than any other woman. And we are all seeing ourselves through whatever consciousness is required for us to realize ourselves in the here and now and what we're choosing from our sacred heart. But with that, I had already gone through 2 years of journeying ancient Egypt, as well as the connections to the Anunnaki, the original creation, the seeding, Ninasag, and Ninasag's involvement in the genetic mutation and the beginning of the human race. I'd already gone through the Atlantean memories, and I'm talking like inside out, upside down, looking at things in cloning facilities, looking at where dark matter was created, looking at where nanotechnology was created, taking accountability and responsibility for all of my part in the unconsciousness, the fragmentation, my part in the separation of the fragmentation of feminine and masculine, going into light and dark, feminine and masculine, all of these things, like huge impacts on the human species. Yet I didn't see this aspect of what I was seeing in front of me. I was seeing these individuals with really dark demonic aspects of descended consciousness that were my soul family, that were intensely working to help them purify, but couldn't do the as within, so without. If it's in their reality and you can see it, it's in your reality, right? So as I came back to Australia, and the reason this is important, and I'm sharing my own personal story with it because it's relatable, it's helpful, it helps you to go, oh yeah, I do that. Oh, okay. There was a deep dissension as I came into beautiful love and source union with my beloved, and it's been the most horrific the most horrific period of my life. And I was like, how could this ever fucking happen? I just went through transcendence. Maybe I'm delusional. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't transcend anything. Maybe I didn't purify anything. Maybe everything I'm talking about is a lie. Like, how could have I gone from that, consistently sitting in that, to this? It doesn't make sense. Now, so what I'm going to share is because there has been so many walk-ins. Now, the reason this is so relevant to so many that it's even worth me bringing here to a public forum is because of the walk-ins. So over the tipping point, what happened was many of our soul family was like, fuck this. I am not on this mission anymore. It hurts. It's too much. I don't like it. Don't want to do it. So they consciously chose to give up their role. Now, I'm talking a lot of souls. A lot of souls went, I'm out. Now, a lot of souls went, I can't give up now. I've come too far. It's too much. I got to keep going, right? Now, all your savior beliefs, all of this, da-da-da-da. But what happened with that, okay, well, I'm in it, and I'm in it for the long haul because this is why I came here, and nothing else is going to fulfill my sacred heart, so I'm going to keep going. What happened was there was a choice to take on a second spirit as if, right? So if you imagine thousands of beings went, fuck it, I'm out, all of those spirits left that level of ascended expression in the human. So the human still has a soul. The human has a personality. The human has a vibration. The human is still alive, but it's without that spirit signature, that spirit essence. So it's kind of like a walk out, you could say. So a lot of beings had walk outs. Now, because you've got the above and the below, you can't have a walk out and not have a walk in, because that would completely change our vibrational reality. So all of these walk outs allowed for all of these walk-ins. And for those that kept going, yeah, okay, I'm in it. I'll take this on. Yes, I'll evolve more for the human race. Yes, I'll do this so that I can bring in the new earth. We took on extra spirits. Now, I already had one. But there are many of you that allowed for extra spirits to come into your being. Now, what happens with a two-spirited being is they often have inner conflict, right? So you've got one that has this perspective and one that has this perspective, and they don't know how to communicate. Now, it's very, very, very few that come in a balanced synergy and harmonized way and go, okay, let's come into union and let's just merge and be this purified ascended master. Most of us have a whole lot of inner conflict. Now, how does that come up? Physical pain comes up with mental instability. It comes up with high highs and low lows. It comes up with the Jekyll and Hyde energy. It comes up in a form of intolerability, suppression. So if one of your spirits, you're like, yeah, you can't be here right now. I'm not ready to purify you. You can bind it, wrap it up, lock it up, suppress it, and cage it inside your own being. And you can cage it into any of your quadrants. And so that's what happened to me. So I don't even want to say this out loud, but of course, Source is making me. I was like, I'm never telling anyone this. I'm not doing it. I won't do it. There's no relevance. Why would I need to? This is why. So being that of having very much journeyed, my first spirit being the goddess Isis, which was much more than that, Elohim, blah, 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 Lyran, Pleiadian, Syrian, and all of these expressions, and having really come to my origins and come to that purification point to integrate it, now I don't really resonate. I know I am her. It's like, I don't need to talk about it. But this, and I don't channel from her because she is me. So this is interesting. But the other spirit was, and you might have seen a video I did last year while I was in Bali in Thailand, talking about the demonic possession of the goddess Kali. And I was like, she's not purified. Anyone who is invocating her, anyone who is working with her, you are working with underworld demons. That is just the truth. Now, I've caused a lot of riff-raff response in the spiritual community. And I was like, no, she stands up for woman and child. Da, da, da. No, she fucking kills people because of her fragmentation. There is no justification for that. She is a demon, right? And I know that. Now, I didn't know why I knew that, and I didn't know why I was so strongly like, don't worship her, right? It's like, see the truth. She needs to purify. Now, I'll also link that in the comments below around her and demons and how they work. And this like just real intense strongness about it. I was like, it was so loud. There were so many that were getting caught in this Kali wave of power, and this dark feminine control narrative, and it really comes from this aspect of fragmentation of the feminine, right? Submission, a sense of victimization. The only reason one goes down to the underworld for support for anything is they don't feel safe. They don't feel powerful. Well, actually, there's two reasons. Some people go down to the underworld because they want power, and instead of choosing their inner power, they choose a controlling power, right? Overt, covert, overt, covert. A covert is a victimized, distorted being that will call on an underworld expression for their protection, for their expression of feeling safe in the world, right? That's what, and if you know the story around Devi, Parvati, and Kali, that's what happened. And the story of history is wrong, right? Parvati and Shiva were not in sacred, yummy union. Shiva was a typical patriarchal 199, 144 Anunnaki man that took over the control structures of this reality, which is every single historical god that you have ever looked up, also their distortion of their patriarchal feminine, that control, submission, and then the toxicity that's created from that, which is what got us to where we are. Neither are better than the other, but that is the truth. If you look back at any single one of these men, every single one had the distortions of patriarchal control. They were not ascended masters, right? And even those like Yeshua that held a level of purity and did bring in and birth in Christ consciousness and birthed it in, didn't anchor it. That's something that's very important to understand. Birthed in Christ consciousness, couldn't anchor it, which is why he's seen as a savior. Follow me, right? Follow the pathway of the synapses consciousness that was created to Christ. Let Christ anoint you. Follow me through the quantum field to be your Christed nature, right? Even Yeshua held patriarchal aspects of distortion. He was not the full embodiment that we believe him to be. And the reason being that certain aspects of his own consciousness were given to his other disciples and to the other team members to help him be this clear channel. Now, that's a very confusing concept, but swapping consciousness is something that we do. We swap it to say, here, borrow this. This will help you learn this. I'll take your pain and I'll purify it for you so that we can get closer to our mission, to our purpose. And that's exactly what happened with Yeshua and Mary. Yeshua's broken heart was given over to another goddess, right? This is, that held it up until this time on the planet to purify Mary Magdalene's heart. Now, if we see this for the truth, we can't see that anyone in our past had it. No one made it. No one. We're only creating that now. And we're not there. I'm not there. There are not a level of unity that is embodied in full totality here on the planet. I can absolutely guarantee that. And I know that because I have the ability to remote view. I know that because I have the ability to look through the quantum field and find spirit essences. I know that because I can see, right? If there was a unified, fully embodied human being on this planet, I would fucking find them and I would borrow their pathways to get there. because this is hard work and I'm tired. And so with that, there was a bit of a detour or a perfect realignment. I held the other spirit, which was being that of the goddess Kali. Now, that is a very confusing conversation to have, and is very multidimensional. But basically, when I met my beloved, he activated the purification of her. She was bound in magic in the right side of my body. The right side of my body is bigger than the left side of my body, which is very fascinating when you look at elements and how your physical represents your energetics, your emotional, your psychological, and all expressions of your light field. So your body will tell you. If you have a lot of weight gain in your abdomen, you are either suppressing things around your sexuality, your creativity, the way you see yourself as a man or a woman, your cosmic womb. You are either holding chi for other people, you are using it as a power center for the earth. There is so many things that can be shown in your physical anatomy and your silhouette. Now, for me, this journey of coming in to be this pathway to help everyone see this, because for some reason I think it's so fun to be the first, is to say, don't recognize this, recognize what is going on in your world, because what is in your world is in you. No exception. And my mentor, when I was very new at this, was like, anytime you want to poke the finger out, bring it right back here. Anytime you say something about someone else, anytime you want to blame, anytime you want to project, anytime you want to do that, bring it back in. It's not about them, it's me. It's not about them, it's me. What are they showing to me? What is it around me? Now, that is the most powerful thing if you're willing to do it, because you'll see it a lot quicker. So this journey for me has been around going through the transcendence process of my second spirit. So never in a million years would I consciously have chosen to go through transcendence twice, which is why my sacred heart has kept it a secret from me. And that's what happens with guidance, right? Guidance from your inner source. People say in the form of the universe will give you what you want, not what you need, right? I want to shift that. The universe will give you what you want and you need, right? Let's change some of these distortions so we start to actually see ourselves with more love, grace, and beauty. Let's make these initiations a little bit more kind, because at the moment we are just being kicked around. And so many of us feel beaten, bruised, battered. And there is a level of pain that is at a point where I think so many of us are like, I'm ready to give up. Like, yeah, I thought I was here for the long haul. I took on an extra spirit. I took on extra consciousness. I decided I'd help the genetic mutation experiment or this, that, and the other. But now I'm like, well, I didn't realize what this was going to be in a human form. I didn't realize it was hard before, but whoa, this is like gnarly. Now, that is because you've taken on more than technically your physical body was designed for. So that's a lot of genetic upgrades. So you might have started to feel like the 144 resonated, but you're like, it doesn't resonate the same way anymore. Why not? Maybe you're shifting into a 199. Maybe you have a two-spirited expression. Maybe you have a spirit and what we could call an I. Maybe you have a spirit and some other kind of hologram consciousness, right? This is what the shift is occurring. We are creating hybrid humans, literally, right now. That's what's happening. We are genetically modifying the human race. We are at, if you can imagine going back to the original seeding of the earth, we are seeding the earth right now. So as a semi-purified, two-spirited, which is now merged as one spirit woman, which is much easier if you recognize that you have two spirits, merging them depending on when, so you're not playing Jekyll and Hyde so that you can see through one lens would be helpful. Now, sometimes there's going to be one spirit that's like, no, I don't want to purify. And you'll have to release that spirit and keep the walk in. Now, sometimes you're going to find that one might need to sit in the background, and you're just going to have to be aware that there's a lot of shadow there. And you're coming from an ascended perspective, and you're in an ascension period. And then you're going to hit the mud, and you're going to go into a dissension period. And that's okay too. And figuring out what is actually going on for you. If you've got them both present, or if you've got a double consciousness, we could call it, that is moving through the field at the moment within yourself, how do you see yourself from both expressions so you're not going fucking crazy? How do you see it from a place of witnessing those in your vibration to allow for you to be there? And with that, because the numbers for the new earth and the awakening have reduced significantly, so we've got less ground crew, right? That's true, right? We have less ground crew, much less ground crew. And what's happened is a fourth wave has opened. So the fourth wave is where a group of divine child or golden children are being incarnated as of kind of now into households of purified parents. Now, these parents might not be at ascended mastery. They might be at the divine union level, where they're holding a unified expression and they're bringing in the fourth wave. So this is how we continue to grow the human race. This is how we begin to build a vibration of unity consciousness moving forward. And this it is happening with all of us. Like, you wouldn't be 31 minutes into this video if you are not this. You are here doing this. You are genetically modifying the human race. That is kind of what the overall experiment is. It's always been about genetics. It's always been about evolution. It's always been about consciousness. It's always been about how do we help humanity so humanity can help the rest of us, right? The human species is a very, very, very precious commodity to the entire creation space, not just this galaxy, right? The aspects of understanding this is because of the as above, so below. The human race, this reality here, the physical form, is such a contribution to all other dimensional realities because of the interconnectedness. And so with that, what I feel to share before closing, because I know there's a lot of vibration and a lot of information, a lot of interdimensional expression, as well as light and frequency, is that if you are resonating with choosing new earth, what is taking place is stepping into that. So you're still either functioning from the old earth, you are in the middle way where you're old earth, new earth, old earth, new earth, and you're tethering, or you're stepping in almost fully, completely in new earth. And that's where I've only just landed myself, because I had to delete everything, as if I was the creator of the earth, right? As if I was going back to that very first council that I was in, and instead of creating the slight mutations of genetics that I did back then, reconciling them into the unity point now. Now, that is powerful reverse engineering. That is a level of reverse engineering that every single one of us is doing. So if you're still looking at your karma, it's because you're finding a reverse engineering point. If you're still in old earth past paradigms, it's because you're looking for the pathways to create from where you went wrong. Now, this is not to say that any of this journey is right or wrong, because it all leads to the one path. Now, not all of us are here for unity, and that's also important to recognize, is some of the people in your vortex might be here for extinction, and they might continue to be here for extinction. And that is a human conscious choice. That is where all of the other higher selves, lower selves, councils, galactic federations, all of these, they have no say over that. You as a human, conscious human being, have a choice of what you get to create and what is true for you. And if you want to choose extinction, then go for it. But that is old earth paradigm, and you'll stay there. If you want to choose creation, movement forward, then you're finding your pathway to get there. And that might be through pain. That might be through contrast. That might be through karma. That might be through going back to all of the points where you've affected the human species. That might be recognizing that you're here to lead the new path forward and create templates and synapses for others to follow, which means that you are fumbling in the dark, right? Because it hasn't been created on the earth before. And so with that, be kind to where you're at and know that the path that you've chosen from your heart, you are creating. But you also have choice in each moment to choose to create it with more ease and grace. You also have a choice to just choose the finish line or the goal, right? So many of us go through the karma, through the aspects of reconciliation of our impact on the earth, because we're not willing to just take ownership and accountability for, yeah, I created this fucking world. I did. I created the evil. I created the separation. I created the war. I created the force. I created the abuse. I created the malevolence. I created the sinister acts against the human species. Now, if you're willing to own that, you don't have to look at anything else. You can own it, grieve it, feel it. Know that you are everything that is here in this reality, no exceptions. And if you can hold that, then you can reconcile it, alchemize it, and return to God, source, creator, and the I am, and step out of it into what you do want to create. And you will have every pathway of infinite intelligence. You'll have every pathway of information. You will know every code. You will know every template. You will know everything possible for you to build. You don't have to go through the shadow to find the light of information. You just choose the information and acknowledge that you are the darkness. I love you, beautiful souls. Have an amazing day. If you would like to continue this journey of Bring the New Earth, where there is a tribe, a community that myself and my beloved facilitate, where we're helping individuals step out of the old earth constructs and into their new earth chosen sovereign self. We have the links in our community below. That will be completing probably in the next 4 to 6 weeks, where we will have everyone that's been in that space arrive there. So if you are feeling called to join, there is a whole heap of transmissions, mystery school teachings, processes of conscious creation, and looking at understanding how to build your blueprint. I would love to invite you into that space. Currently, that's the only real way to work with me at the moment. There is a lot launching, a lot of emergence of entrepreneurial business, community-based building of evolution with spiritual evolution, and joining and merging worlds. So stay tuned and join our mailing list so that you can receive any of the new offerings that are being provided. All right. Have an amazing day.